Welcome to Real Reviews. This week we got a little bit of a special thing for you. No movie review, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because we went to the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo.
Yeah, one of our favorites.
One of our favorite things to do.
Yeah.
We, fortunately, get media passes, which doesn't really give us any access to anything. Except so we film our experience, what we saw, what we did, and it's always a good time. If you've never been to it, it is catered to people like us who like pop culture and comic books, but it's also, there's something there for everybody, I would say.
Oh, for sure. You got your anime people, you got your movie people, you got your comic people. The cosplay covers all of those bases. And then, like, on top of that, like, the merchandise, like, all the swag you can buy, Artist Alley.
Yeah.
So much to take in that you almost, a one-day pass isn't enough.
It isn't enough unless you have something there very specific to do. A one-day pass is fine, but we go for 3 days and we spend one day just walking through, looking at all the merchandise.
Shopping.
It's huge. Oh, you see so many things. You see old comics, old rare comics. This year is pretty cool because they usually have like lots of the same things. Oh, here's a T-shirt. Here's one of those stupid Funko Pop figures, or the heck they're called.
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops, whatever they are, you know.
Hey, we should get popped.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Come on, pop us.
But this year they had guys like making like actual replica weapons.
Yeah.
And there was a cool Star Wars booth where some guy let me try on a helmet that cost about $3,000.
Yeah.
And that was like a dream. I couldn't believe he let me do it.
Like, talking to him, he was like, this is one of like 5 in Canada. You know, like, they're super rare, super expensive. I don't know why Kurt got to
because
put it
I
on.
said, hey, if I put you on camera, can I try on your helmet? And he's like, oh,
shameless plug.
I'm like, come on. And he did.
Yeah.
He let me put it on, which is very cool.
Yeah.
It's very tight. I don't know how those extras wear that equipment, keep it on all the time, but it's very cool. Things like that. We saw a girl selling ocarinas from Legend of Zelda.
No, we didn't see her first. We heard her.
We heard her. And I
Playing
heard
the Star Wars
I know, I
Cantina
heard it.
song.
I heard it out of the corner of my ear. I'm like, that's the Star Wars Cantina song. And we walk over, and she makes all these ocarinas and wrote like music.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy music books if you don't know what ocarina is. From
Just a little flute.
One game in the Zelda series like 20 years ago where you played like a little flute. Yeah, but it's just
She was killer.
Yeah, she was.
She can play anything.
Yeah.
Careless Whisper.
She was playing Careless Whisper by when we were leaving. Just things like that. And you get to talk to these people, and they're all so friendly, and you just get to have conversations with these people. That's probably one of the best parts about it. Josh had a run-in with one lady.
Yeah, I seem to get it every year. They ask what I'm cosplaying. And this year, the number one question was if I was cosplaying Guy Fieri. Like, no, I'm not. My tits aren't blonde.
So I look.
It's because of the beard. The beard I didn't get
Yeah.
asked this year. Last year, I was asked a lot if I was Wreck-It Ralph. And then so I was like, oh, like, they're like, no, not Wreck-It Ralph this year because of the beard.
Because no, it was a green Power Ranger sitting on one of those inflatable like canoe resting things.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a red plaid shirt, and he's like, "Hey, Wreck-It Ralph."
Yeah, he's like, that's awesome cosplay.
Just like,
this
no,
is just the way I dress.
this is just how I look. Funny things like that always happen. And you get to see famous people.
Yeah.
What's cooler than that? You can walk by. I know we walked by and I saw like Will Wheaton just sitting doing autographs, and Jeff Goldblum trying to sneak in. It's Jeff Goldblum, everybody. Jeff Goldblum. My personal favorite thing is always the panels.
Yeah.
There's some famous person, you go into a room and they just answer people's questions or just talk.
Yeah.
And they're so interesting to see. And the only perk we get is I get to take my camera right up to the front for a couple minutes while they come out on stage.
Yeah.
So I was literally 2 feet away from Anthony Daniels. C-3PO walked right by me. I was like, as being who I am, I was just like, I went back to our seats. I'm like, that was awesome.
Man.
He was right there. But he was awesome. He just walked around the Corral Center, going up to people, be like, oh, you got a question you want to ask me?
Yeah.
You got a question? You got a question?
Like, usually those panels are moderated. So usually they have someone sitting up on stage. You have like a back and forth. But with Anthony Daniels, he just had a microphone on, He didn't even stay on the stage. He
Nope.
was in between the crowd and like super, friendly, super fun. Like he just the interaction that he has with everybody, and the way he teases everybody, just all in jest, but like just a super cool guy.
So we checked out Anthony Daniels. We saw Tom Cavanaugh from the Flash series that he's on now.
He canceled last year, and I was a little bummed.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him because he's on our favorite TV show,
Scrubs. His brother Dan.
Yeah, and so
Scrubs.
like he's on Flash now as he played Reverse Flash. But,
so many characters.
Yeah. So I was super excited to see him, and he had a great panel.
Yeah, and then we saw a girl from The Gifted, the new X-Men spin-off series.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about her, but it's just, I didn't know, but I was entertained. She sat there for an hour and people just asked, be like, hey, about this X-Men, and you realize these people are fans, which is very cool. And another fan we saw was Vanessa Marshall, who voices a character in a Star Wars cartoon called Rebels, which was awesome. She was like the female version of me. Just loved Star Wars so much because some of these actors,
but way happier in person.
I'm a happy guy. Look at me. She was so cool because she loved you. You meet these people and you see how much she loves
it.
Star Wars and just adores that she was even part of all this.
You don't think that like someone could be as nerdy as like you or me about this, and then like the people that actually do it are just as nerdy. And like she knew like so much, and she was super cool to listen to, and like that was probably the only perk of media that day because we got to sit in the front row. Oh yeah.
And then we ended off the night Jeff Goldblum. This is all one day. This is just our Saturday. We ended off the day on Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Jeff Goldblum? He's totally just Jeff Goldblum when he comes out.
Like
just a sweetheart of a man.
Like I told Kurt, Jeff Goldblum to me, I was always like, ugh. He seemed very
Ian Malcolm, a little cocky,
very arrogant and pompous, and I'd always thought that's you watch interviews or just the way he interacts in like certain interviews, you're like, oh, whatever. But after watching his panel, just how friendly he was, I was like, man, like changed my mind. I love Jeff Goldblum. Like I've always enjoyed him as an actor, but I love him as a person. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my God. This is amazing.
And then our last one we saw Elijah Wood. We saw Frodo Baggins just tell stories about Lord of the Rings for an hour.
Yeah.
And funny stories too. Like you just laugh. Yeah, that was on Sunday.
Oh. I can honestly say I've never spoken at a stadium before. This is pretty wild. All right. Hi, everyone.
He debunked like a lot of like Lord of the Rings rumors, which were super cool.
Yeah.
Because you always hear about these things after the fact now, like however many years, 10, 15 years later. So there was obviously all these rumors out there, and like who better to ask than freaking Frodo Baggins?
The man who lived it. It's funny having actual access to these people. So like I said, we spend our Saturday just sit and listen to famous people tell stories, and you get to ask them questions.
Yeah.
So it is.
That's why you need a full weekend pass, because our Saturday is literally just sitting in the corral, getting up, stretching our legs, going back, just panel after panel, because it's just wicked stories.
Yeah. So we love it. That's a bit of our experience at the Calgary Comic Expo, and there's so many nice people to talk to and everything like that. It's just it's a pretty cool experience just to try it out. Try it out at least once. Like dip your toe in. Maybe try a Sunday pass or something, a nice cheap pass. And I guarantee once you see actually what's going on, you'll be like,
that's
maybe next year.
Maybe next year, maybe two days, or maybe the weekend.
And don't forget, go check out our Facebook page and give it a like. Give a like to our video for the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo. Leave a comment if you were there or anything. Any questions you want to ask us about what we've thought of it or anything like that. You're entered to win a $10 gift cert to Perkins Restaurant and Bakery.